Two, one. We are live now here with my man Bhavik. How you doing, Bhavik? From C-SPAN. I'm from C-SPAN. From Seven Span.
Hey Victor, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Have I ever seen you on C-SPAN?
Not that I know of.
Do you know
Seven.
what C-SPAN is?
Nope.
Oh, it's a public broadcasting thing that they usually put on when people are seeing how Congress acts. So I was
Ah,
thinking maybe Bhavik is in the U.S. Congress doing something or something, government related.
uh,
Anyway, wanted to say thank you so much for being with us today. We have a number of questions regarding people who are now starting to create a website. And even though this has been going on for a long time, when people are new to it, they have some questions. And when even if you are not a new person to creating a website, you've done a one, two, or many, making sure that you have the right website for the right product and the right sector is really important. And we're really glad to have you with us. So thanks for being here.
hey, thank you, Victor. First of all, I want to thank you and Barcelona Metropolitan for inviting us here. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you for plugging Metropolitan because we're always trying to add value to the English speaking community of Barcelona. And, building a professional network is one way to do it, but also making ourselves be stronger to generate leads, to be have a better presence online is very important. And your advice here when you came to chat with me was very illuminating. So I'd like to share some of the ideas that you gave me with the rest of the people who are watching us here. Can you
Absolutely.
as a first question, can you give a little bit of background about yourself and Seven Span and what you're doing here? What's your journey, if you will?
Definitely. Hey, I'm Bhavik. Basically, I have been mergers and acquisitions consultant and been dealing with tech space a lot. Mostly, I've been on the business side. Now, Seven Span is an digital agency which started in India almost it's in 10th year now. So we started with 6 people in 2015, and now we are a team of 230 plus people going strong. Now it started as a digital marketing agency, Victor,
Oh,
wherein it was at back in the day when there was social media was still it was more people being social and not so much of influencing. But back in those days, we used to, execute campaigns based on WhatsApp chatbots. Nobody had even heard of those back then. But we did some very good campaigns with Nestle's and FMCGs, and those were we were kind of pioneers in that domain in terms of WhatsApp-based advertising campaigns. From there, then we pivoted to in terms of going full. Now people are coming to us for marketing, and then we also started getting into development piece of it. And since then, we have been growing, and we have been partnering with a lot of official tools and sort of technologies which are being used for essentially building websites and web applications like Webflow directors. So that's about what we do at Seven Span in terms of helping clients develop their websites or custom softwares, right from scratch, and then also helping them market them. Yep.
okay. And what is what are you doing here in Barcelona?
Oh, so I think it's my wife who dragged me here. It's not to do with Seven Span, but hey, while I'm here, why not get to know more people here and start developing a market for Seven Span? So in Barcelona, I've been primarily looking to get in touch with startups, small businesses, and see how we can add value to their business.
Okay, cool. Well, in today's digital age of can you talk about the importance of small, medium-sized businesses in Barcelona, what they need to do to have a nice, strong online presence, and how does Seven Span help clients overcome some of these challenges?
Absolutely. So I think first I'll start with why an online presence at all, if at all, is needed. And I don't think, I mean, it's really now it's more like I don't think that needs an answer even. But If we look at it, even for the businesses who are growing their business 100% offline, the discovery part of the business is still predominantly going online. Is it? I mean, even if we want to, go to a store, before stepping into a store, we try to look at it online. I mean, just a Google based, Google map listing also, at least we try to check it out. And from that's where it starts. And social media and a website are something that boosts your presence. So it's more like your storefront, which is digital, and especially with millennials and Gen Z, it is becoming all the more relevant to have a solid online presence, even if your business is offline. So
Okay. And so
that's
what do you
where,
guys?
yeah, that's where I think a lot of the customers that come to us have this primary notion also that, hey, my business is completely offline. Why do I need an online website? And even if I do, what is it? I mean, then they will not be clear like what to put online out there. And that's where we help them, right from the start, because if it is an online storefront, so it's more like you have a retail offline storefront, and online is something similar. So the more attractive, beautiful, more easier to navigate your storefront is, better it is for your online presence. So a lot of it goes into, building a strong online presence, which is not just, I might say, development, but there are a lot of design UX elements involved in that as well. Yeah,
Okay. And
that's
so
where we.
if I'm to decide if I want to create a website, what are the key elements that would make, a fantastic, powerful website?
Oh. So I think, see, in terms of if any website we are creating, so just like I said, it's your retail storefront. Think of it as your retail storefront, right? And of course, website is for a user. So first and foremost, I would always say it is the user experience, wherein your website should be easily navigable. Users should be able to use it. I mean, the things like, let's just say, in a lot of websites you will observe like they offer their websites in multiple languages. So I mean, after coming to Barcelona, I face this a lot. The moment I'm opening any website, it opens in Spanish, and my Spanish is zero. So I'm always trying to figure out if there is an English version to it. At the first, of course, Google is now kind to offer English translations, but in terms of UX, what I always find is people have put the language change option, I don't know, very remotely or down at in the footer. So first I have to scroll through everything and then change and then go back up and then scroll down. So these are user experiences which can really put people off. And and on top of it, there are a lot of others, such small elements which this. And second, the most important thing is website should be mobile responsive, mobile friendly, I might say, because today I think 80 to 90% of the people surf internet on mobiles only. uh, Good old desktops are going out of the market slowly. So in terms of your website, if you are building, so a lot of websites will have very beautiful, desktop version, but the moment you are opening it on mobile, the UX is not the same as it is online. So that is another factor to it. And of course, the design, or minimalistic design or simplistic design, the better. So I think these are a few of the key elements which I think are much more needed: UX, mobile friendliness, and the design, because
Well,
that's
everything
yeah,
you said here makes total sense, and with all due respect, it seems obvious, right? But
yeah.
then I go sometimes to a website, and I have a big screen here on my desk, so I have
Hmm.
all this real estate that I can do. But then as you say, you go to a website on my phone, and I have to think of, for example, the metropolitan users. About 65% of my users consume our content using their phone.
Yeah.
And that flipped during COVID. Actually, totally flipped. It went to like
Oh,
70% went to desktop.
wow.
So when I'm putting content out there, be it a website or an event or an article, it is very important to consider both the desktop as well as the phone. And that is a bit of a challenge. So this is something that you help clients with to figure out how to manage this, or do you build this into your software so the software is smart enough to make it intelligent to the device?
Yep. So it's built into the any website. So you, I mean, essentially there are, if I look at it, there is your wide screens, and then the smallest is your mobile, and in between there is a tablet also. So a lot of, I mean, although a smaller number, but there is a tablet. So you need to build your design responsive in a such a manner that all the elements which are there on, your website, they know when the screen size is getting smaller, how to react in a certain manner. So that's what we try to do, is having it built in. And a majority of the libraries today at least offer this functionality, but still, if this is something which can easily be overlooked, and at the end of the day you will end up with a website which is not friendly with one format, and might turn off the customer user.
I see. Okay, so now let's turn to costs.
Yep.
Because I have many clients who have asked me if I can help them build a website. I'm not a website developer. And they started talking to me because they've seen a number of different sites that I've been associated with. So, what are the costs involved in building and maintaining a website? And especially for organizations that are, say, NGOs, and they don't really have a big budget, and then they need a website that they can then modify if they need to without a big cost and without a dependency on the person who built it for them. Can you talk about the budgets that we should be considering and everything that's involved in building a website?
Yeah, so I think that's a big question, but let me take it one at a time. So first, I mean, when it comes to a cost for a website, so of course you have your one-time costs and you have your maintenance cost, one-time development and maintenance. Now, the first step to building a website is having an address, the domain, essentially. And nowadays, it is pretty hard to get any .com domain. So people will go for .ai or .io or similar domains. But if you want to get a .com domain, they are very costly.
Really, I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, so I think the easiest way for anyone to first thing to do is go to name.com or any similar GoDaddy or any similar platform, domain service, and look at buying the domain, right? So it's like, I mean, in a simplest term, if I give an analogy, it's like your real estate. Domain name is like your address, is a piece of land you are buying in a digital landscape. Now you have to have this, or you sort of rent it from someone, but essentially it's a service that you buy, and you are charged annually for it. It starts from as cheap as $8 to $10 a year, to it can go as high as, I mean, there are certain domains which cost million a year,
Wow.
yeah, to buy. Of course, once you buy them, then it's just a maintenance cost. But there are people who will buy dictionary words as a shorter domain. So, and then they will keep holding them. So it's just like real estate. People are buying promising lands, and then they are holding it to sell
So
it.
these are cyber squatters.
Something like
Okay.
that. And
Okay.
so first thing you want to do while starting, going for cost estimate for your website, you try to look at the domain that you want to buy. Once you have bought the domain, I mean, there are lots of services who offer domains like GoDaddy, Hostinger is there, name.com. And one of the few, I mean, a good one is expireddomain.net, which where you can find good domains. If somebody, let's just say a squatter is there who has bought a domain, he forgets to renew the subscription or renewal fees, and it becomes available. And expired domains is essentially to support those things. After you have, let's just say, bought your domain, then you need to have your infrastructure on top of it, which is your server fees.
Okay.
Now, from here, it becomes interesting. So either you can host a website yourself, you buy your own server online or through any cloud service, AWS, DigitalOcean are there. I mean, Google Cloud, or you go for a managed service. Now, at this point, people should have clarity in terms of what is it that they want to achieve with their website. I want to do e-commerce. I want to sell something online. I go for Shopify, WooCommerce, or n number of services. Now, they will take care of all the hosting at the server cost at the back end. You just pay a subscription fee, like annual, monthly. It might be ranging from, let's just say, $20 a month to as high as in terms of features that you are buying, right? Um, and once you have, you have got the services, Hostinger is also pretty popular, which is offering domain as well as managed services these days. You have got this service, so you have got your domain name and the server. Now it comes to, what do you want to put out there as a content? So if it comes to design part, now we are into designing the website. Now here there are two options primarily. One is you buy some template which is available offline for the platform that you have chosen, be it Shopify, Framer, or any, and you just customize that template, tweak it a little bit to suit your purpose, which is a cheaper or economic option. The
Okay.
other option is you go for full-fledged design, in terms of custom design. Like you are really clear with that any template is not going to suit your need, and you will need a custom design, and you sort of want to develop it now. So here is the kicker. uh, for designing, so there might be very good freelancer developers out there who can help you develop the website, but they may not be as good at when it comes to designing. So you also want to go with someone who is going to be good with designing the website, but at the same time, if you go for a custom development, of course it's going to cost you higher, because I mean, you can estimate somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 euros an hour minimum for designer's effort. And typically a website which is, let's just say, a small, up to 10 pages basic website, typically takes around uh, 50 to 100 hours. So you can put a budget of 300 to 500 euros on a minimum site, I'm saying. And again, if you get it done in Europe or any US or any of the developed countries, then it's going to cost you even higher, because those design hours is going to be 20 to 50 euros an hour. So
Okay.
it really depends. And again, in terms of design, there is one more thing, is that while I might go for a custom design, but at the same time I should be having my own brand guidelines, brand details ready, so that the designer knows, like, what is the logo to be used, what is the color theme to be chosen, all those aspects. Because if people don't have that, then again they are going to charge you extra for it. And the moment someone gets into it, there are a hell lot of surprises coming their way, and they are like, oh, I never expected this budget, I've never budgeted for it, something like that. So I think that's where a template based website saves them a lot of costs. If it is just not critical for you in terms of, your, like, if your business revenue is 100% offline, I would always suggest, rather than going for custom, first start with a template, see how the website is performing, do a POC, because it's a smaller investment compared to going for custom design from the get go. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, so now coming back to, I mean, I went and I got distracted a bit. But yeah, coming back to the costing aspect. So we have got your domain cost, which is around $10 a year to upwards, starting from $10 a year, you might say. Then there is server cost. Server costs are again, starts with 100 starts from $100 a year to onwards, depending on what sort of performance you are looking at, what sort of uptime you're looking at for your website. uh, then design cost, which will be a one-time cost, but it will put you somewhere in the vicinity of, let's just say, 500 euro, starting from 500 for a very basic website. To sky's the limit, really. And then comes, once you have your design ready, either template or the design ready, then comes the development part, wherein now you are developing the website. Now, if you've gone for Shopify or a no code sort of a service, that is already included in your subscription. You just need to configure it. But within that, if you need a button not here from, but you need to change the position of a button, or you need to change how the screen looks or a flows, then you need development needs. And basically, development again, I would say, for a basic website is around, let's just say, up to 100 hours for a basic, very basic website.
Okay.
And that will around cost, starting from, I think, 1500 USD is at a very basic level if the development is starting from scratch, right?
Okay.
uh,
Um,
yeah.
anything else there? I don't want to cut you off.
No, no.
Okay, I do have a question about. I have experienced hidden fees sometimes. Can
Yeah.
you talk with me about hidden costs, third-party services, things that I
Oh,
may not initially think this is part of my website, but then I find out I have to have them. So it's an all-in total cost is actually different. Can you talk to me a
yeah.
little bit about these things?
Definitely. So I think, yes. So thanks for, so third party services. Let's just say, if I mean, today, if you are using any websites and there is a mobile based one time password that is coming to your way. Now, in your website, if you want to, let's just say you are doing e-commerce and you want to verify the buyer by mobile number, and if you want to do it by OTP, one time password, so by SMS, so it's a service that is a third party, and you need to actually pay per SMS in these cases. So that is one of the costs that you are looking for. Or even, let's just say, a lot of freelancers will have their calendars to be booked, put through Calendly or some sort of services, third party service, wherein you put on your calendar and people can just quickly book consultations directly, appointments directly. But in those cases, Calendly, you need to buy a Calendly subscription, which is again going to, cost you per month some nominal cost. But again, this will not be part of your website. Similarly, you are using a payment gateway for e-commerce, then payment gateway is also going to charge you whatever is based on the transaction fee, right? So there are all sort of these hidden fees that come up if you are putting up an email automation, if you are putting up, let's just say, uh, type form, I mean a form to collect, generate a lead. And there are services like typeform which you need to essentially subscribe. So these are third party services. So it depends a lot on what sort of features and functionalities that you are sort of looking your website to perform. So if it is just basic website, one way flow of communication and no interactions essentially, then there is not. But the moment you start, with advanced features and functionalities, you will start getting, there's a hidden cost, because you need to utilize third party services and you need to pay them. And typically these services are more like monthly subscriptions or annual subscriptions. So those are ongoing costs, not even one time spend.
All right, so you can also advise customers on what options are for, I guess, calendar setting and
Yeah,
payments, all these, and generating leads, because Typeform is one. It's a great one, but it's not the only one.
correct.
As well as the different payment gateways.
Yeah.
because with a new fintech, there's increasing number of options, sometimes a lot cheaper than what the most industry standard, well-known ones
Right.
are, and there are other options that are just as good or sometimes even better for a
Yeah.
lot less money.
And, and exactly, I mean, just like you say, like most of the time, even if you are aware, like this is the third party service that I might need to use for this feature, probably you have heard about the industry leader, and which I'm sure it is always going to be the most priciest option, you know. So there are a lot of good tools out there, and we are constantly on the lookout for what is a good alternative, which may be economical, but it is as good.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you this. What are five key things then that people should prepare for before approaching a developer to develop a customized site?
Okay. Okay, five. So I think the first and foremost thing is to do is, let's just say you want to develop a website, is look at your competitor websites. Do a bit of competitor analysis, I might say, wherein
Okay.
see what is it that they are doing out there. What is it that you want to achieve with your website? You want to do it like to like, everything same as them, and based on that at least you can get a clarity. I mean, that's the easiest way to get clarity on what you want your website to do. And if you're looking at five competitors, it also gives you better ideas in terms of, okay, this is something I might do. And at the same time, I would advise one more thing is that, let's just say if you are in Spain, and typically what people do is they will look at Spain based competitors only. But since it is a website that you are building, it's more like a global thing, right? So look for similar business which is not in your country, so you will get better ideas sometimes. So this helps a person who is trying to build a website to get clarity in terms of how are people sort of pitching their businesses online. And that's where you can also figure it out how you want to pitch your business, right? So that is the first thing that they should do. And
Okay.
at the same time, the moment you are finding some website which is good, you just bookmark them. So the moment you are talking with a designer or a developer, you can give them a reference like, this is what I'm talking about. So it makes a lot many things easier for you in terms of communicating, because otherwise it becomes you ask for a and you get completely different thing. So at least if you have a benchmark or a reference to talk to your designer or developer, you are ending up somewhere close to what you're looking for. uh, Second part is the target customer profile, I would say. I mean, the clarity, business should have clarity in terms of who is going to be my target customer, what is the sort of age, or what is the sort of language I'm looking, because based on that you're going to derive your what sort of design I should be doing, what sort of language I should be using, what are the number of languages, should I be only be using English or I should be using Spanish, because in Spain, of course, let's just say in Barcelona, you need Catalan, Spanish, and English typically, because tourists will have, most of them will have English or Spanish at best, right? But for local audience, you need Catalan. So this clarity is needed, and this while developing, it is going to cost you a bit, but at the same time, there is it saves you a lot of pains afterwards. And third thing is in terms of media, I think. So what we have observed is a lot of clients who come to us, they are absolutely clear what they want, what is the content they are going to put there. But what they essentially miss out on is high quality or HD graphics or images that they want to put onto their website. Now, what happens typically is that if you are just approaching a developer and not a designer, what you will end up is probably some stock images bought off from Shutterstock or some other platform, and there might be chances that your website has the same image or same person pitching something which who is also there in another website, because stock images are essentially free to use. So that's where you should really consider, like, you have your branding guidelines ready, I mean, sometimes if feasible, if you have budget for it, go for professional photo shoot with your, I mean, local connects or something, and use those high quality images, so that makes your website unique, I might say.
I see. Okay, good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yep.
Um, and let me ask you this. This might be a dumb question, but when you buy, say, one of these platforms, something that's a very simple website, 10, 15 pages, and then you
Mhm.
think, oh my gosh, now I didn't, my audience was only in English, but now actually I need it in French.
Yep.
Is it easy using these platforms to then create another website that's in French?
So most of the websites, Victor, like most of this platform-based, they offer a multilingual option, but at the same time, it depends on the complexity of your website. So, for example, I mean, let's just say let me take an example of, you have a blog. So for blog, you would have a content management system, CMS, as we call it, the backend, right? Now, typically any CMS will offer you multi-language options, so wherein you can publish your blog in multiple languages, and at the front end it will be multi-language website. But now, the moment you are coming to e-commerce,
Okay.
that's where localization or regional based content becomes difficult on top of your languages, because let's just say if I'm selling something in Spain, I don't want to sell the same thing in Germany, but at the same time my content is going to be both. So that's a complicated use case to handle, and that's where it is very difficult for you to handle without a developer. But in terms of, if I discard e-commerce as a use case, it's just the content that you are trying to display. Most of the platforms will give you an option. Some of them will sell it to you as their premium feature, but yes, you need not go for development to someone. Yep.
Okay. And is it also, sorry, this is kind of different. Is it uncommon that maybe somebody who has a website that was very simple and they're very happy with it, but now their business has grown and expanded and they need to start putting in not just new pages on the platform, but to the point where they need to customize it. Now you need a proper developer for a homegrown site to either
Yeah.
copy what you already have and or make it big, or is it easy to is that process easy to transition?
It really depends. Like, if you are happy with the design, so like I said, there are two parties to it. One is design, the other is developer. Now, if you are happy with your current design and you are just looking to add few more functionalities or few more pages, then you can just have a developer and it's easy. I mean, there is not much, in terms of effort involved, because your design language and everything is there. You have a template which developers are, I mean, a good developer will easily replicate the template and follow the design guidelines if you already have them in your website. But let's just say if you are looking at a complete overhaul, wherein you are looking for a new design as well, so that's where it becomes more effort. It involves a lot of more effort, because you need to redo the entire design, and the moment you have redone the design, the development also kicks in, and you also need to develop it again. So yeah, I mean, so when we say is it feasible, it's completely feasible. I mean, technically there shouldn't be many challenges to it. It's only the efforts which are involved which become higher.
Sure. Okay, and then of course you were talking about localization and adapting to the requirements of markets, and data protection is extremely important, particularly if you're in Europe. Um, but I hadn't really thought about return policies and other things that are required of, I don't know if they're more e-commerce related,
Yeah.
um, but what are different types of things that perhaps people sometimes don't think of when they have to consider adapting to a local market?
Yep. So I think I mean, these are primarily, let's just say, if you are in Europe, or I mean, mostly now globally, every country will have their own, privacy-related regulation. So you need to have your privacy policy, which is suitable for that particular region. So yeah, I mean, of course, you will get certain templates, or you can just replicate someone who you think would have done the homework. But at the same time, it's very. I mean, those are the things that it's just the fine prints. It's in the fine prints. But when it comes to some sort of legal complication arising out of it, it's good to have it vetted, right? Uh, and at the same time, like e-commerce return policies you mentioned, so payment gateways will not allow you to integrate the payment gateway as long as you don't have a return policy on your website. So
Hmm.
uh, so while you will build a website and everything, and you probably haven't had a written policy thought of putting it on web online, you might have some written policy which you are practicing offline. So but payment gateway will come back and say, you have to put this page, and then you need to put it online. So these are there. Then another that I can think of is, let's just say, OTP. It's an interesting use case. I was talking of OTP, right? OTP based authentication if you are doing SMS. Now let's just say you want to authenticate your customer, and you put your mobile number here, and you will get an SMS onto that number, and based on that you will do authentication. Now let's just say someone who is in US, or someone who is in, let's just say, Japan, uh, in a essentially Spanish website, who is not your customer, who is sitting in US or Japan, they put in their mobile number. So what will happen is, most of the times, if we are not careful, they will get an SMS. And if you are charged, let's just say, 30-40 cents per SMS, in those countries it may be a different charge. Africa is notorious for known to have highest charges when it comes to SMS. So somebody from Africa can put 5 times their mobile number, get an OTP, and they will probably cost you a bomb. uh, so these are the things that if you overlook, it will crazily shoot up your credit card bill for that OTP service, and you won't even realize, and they are not your customer. So it is very careful, every content or every interaction that you are putting out there, to think through that, what is the my customer region, globally speaking, that this is aimed at. So if it is mobile number, and if I am selling in Spain only, I want to restrict the country code to +34, so that nobody from outside even starts ordering. And
Okay. That sounds
that's
obvious. I had never thought of that. So thank you.
so
Wow.
we come across many such things, because so like at Seven Span we have developed more than 500 websites, I mean, till date. And so you come across all these small use cases, which sometimes completely miss, and then you only realize when you look at your credit card statement.
Ouch. Okay. Now, I'll stay on this in terms of being competitive. So, what are three things a company can do to boost their online presence and their digital market footprint?
Got it. So I think in terms of one is to boost any their digital presence uh, for any website. First, I think I want to cover one part is lead magnets. So what is called as your website should have some small content where people are going to get drawn in, and they will think of visiting. So for example, you would have seen download this PDF for like, I have curated this course for XYZ topic, download this PDF, and it will get people to go to that website. Similarly, you might have, I think the most used lead magnets are your converters or EMI calculators, some calculator which is related to their website. So your fintech websites will have mortgage calculators, something similar. So the moment you search for something like around mortgage, those calculator links will pop up and you will go to that website. So although their product you may have never heard of, but you are on their website, so there is their chance. So similarly, uh, based on what is your target customer profile, you might consider putting one or two lead magnets onto your website.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool. So lead magnets. What
Yeah.
other things can we do?
And then obviously the search engine optimization part, right? Wherein for any website, let's just say, you Google or I mean, people typically reach to websites through either social media or Google. I mean, these are the two ways that essentially people are reaching to the website, or they are directly knowing it and typing it in. But let's just say if it is, let's just say, Google. So your website, I mean, Google or any similar search engine, your website has to be readable for these search engines, right? So because they have one way of reading the website, and other way, like if they want to, let's just say, in terms of Google, if I might say it. So the parameters that Google considers as what is the age of the website, what is the performance of the website, what is the relevance of the content with respect to the search query, and the other aspects of the relevance Google decides based on whether it can read your website. Now, to make the website readable for Google, you need to put in, there are certain standard protocols to follow, I might say, I mean, in a simplified manner, while developing the website. Or so, like every image should have a caption. You need to have one header at least on every page, and all those things. So that makes it easier for people to discover your website on Google.
I see.
And
Okay.
and similarly on social media, I think it goes somewhere in terms of link magnets or something that you need to do. And at the same time, social media, what happens is uh, you need to build a funnel. So you need to have certain landing pages in between your website and Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever you are doing, so that because essentially, let's just say I am interested in that ebook, e-course, or ebook that I want to download. So I go to that landing page, but the moment somebody has downloaded, I redirect them to my website. So that's how people are generating traffic to their websites.
I
So
see.
all these things are should be taught through. The one more important part to this is something called schema.org.
What is it?
Schema, schema,
Okay.
schema.
Right.
So your so it's like a global language for all the search engines out there. So if you are a, let's just say your website is about a hotel. So every hotel website needs to have at the back end their website information listed in certain manner in an HTML format. It's called the site schema, basically. Uh, if it is there in that format, Google will be able to read it and put it on top. So nowadays, if you look at, especially with related to e-commerce, the moment you are searching for a product, you also see the same product with images and website. Like you will find Amazon links, Alibaba links, and directly to that product page. So that is achieved because you have selected the right schema for your website.
Oh,
So
okay. Hey.
like,
Cool.
so while one is the development part, the other is the marketing of the website part. So in terms of marketing, typically what happens is if you develop directly a platform based website or something, uh, basic of this schema and everything will be already be taken care of. But at the same time, to make it perform better than your competitors, you need to go for an SEO expert or search engine optimization expert, who can advise you in putting all these things right so that your website is more discoverable compared to your competitors. So I think
Okay.
these are the things to take care, like if you want to put your content out there. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I always heard of SEO, but I never know what the hell they're talking about. So sometimes I think they're just making stuff up. But no, there's a lot of science behind them. All right, and then my final question for you is, for business owners who are paying attention to us today, what's the best way to get started to enhance their digital presence with your company's help?
Oh, so I think what we can do is on this LinkedIn post, if anybody is interested, they can just comment, give a shout out to Victor by tagging Metropolitan, and we'll help anyone who tags them to do a free business audit of their website and suggest them how they can improve their presence. So we can do it for free. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good way. And Seven Span, where
Yep.
is Seven Span based?
So we have offices in India and Canada, and so it's in India and west of India, and in Canada in Fairfax. Yep.
Okay, and I know that you've been here in Spain spreading the Seven Span gospel, being at the networking events and talking about, how people can be more effective with their websites. You're doing a fantastic job, and you're very soft-spoken, but clearly you really know what you're talking about.
Hey.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
No, I think that's about it. But thank you so much, Victor, for giving us an opportunity to be here, and really look forward to connecting a lot more to discuss further ideas on Metropolitan. I think we discussed, yeah.
Fantastic. Definitely. Let's stay on after I click here to end the conversation. I want to take a picture with you and also discuss potential next steps, because I do get approached by a number of companies that want to have some support in building their websites, and I'd be delighted in directing them to you and to Seven Span.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I will see you
Thank
soon.
you.
I should have this hand. We have some events coming up, and Viva Seven Span and Viva Bhavik. Thanks for being with us, Bhavik.
Thank you.
Namaste, brother.